Speaking of hostages,
What?
George R.R. Martin.
Hey, I was pretty happy about this shit. Let me tell you, last week on this here podcast, the Castle Super Beast podcast, Patrick Boivin said, hey, I think they should lock fucking George in a room until he finishes those books. I was met with the relatively reasonable assertion, Pat, that's ridiculous. You can't just lock people in rooms and have them make the art that you want or the books that you want. And I said, you know what? That's fine. And we had a really interesting conversation about what the author owes the audience, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward to the next fucking day, when George R.R. Martin is talking to, what is it, Worldcon? What the fuck is this New Zealand shit? Who's he talking to? Some shit. And he goes, you know what, New Zealand? If I don't get off that plane into New Zealand in 2020, you have my permission to lock me into a cabin over some fucking Salt Lake or some shit out in the middle of nowhere looking at the ocean, isolated, until I finish that book. You have my written consent to imprison me until I finish that book. And I went, okay, George, this is a step in the right direction. Thank you for justifying my completely irrational desire.
He said it himself. He demanded it.
He literally said, imprison me.
In fact, he specifically requested that you personally
Pat,
fly over,
you lock the chains around the door,
get the whip, and stay on the watch. And every once in a while, just for good measure, just crack it.
Yeah. There was a reply somewhere to the podcast, either on the, I think it was, maybe it was the image that, I forget that guy's name, but he makes the worst moment of the podcast. He draws it.
Yeah, I believe it's Mr. Sups. Yeah.
What was it, Mr.?
I believe it's Mr. Sups.
Mr. Sups. He does great work. You do a good job. And somebody made the comment that I wish I had thought of, which is, at a certain point over time, being reasonable just doesn't seem worth it anymore. It just, you get tired, and reasonableness never got you anywhere. So you know what? Let's just imprison all the writers until they make the thing we like.
Yeah. I mean, like, fuck them for having the talent to even get into this game and do something so far above what anyone else is doing.
You know what, Woolie?
That anyone recognizes it to begin with.
You know what, Woolie? That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. If you're cursed with being talented to stand up and make something that recognizes that is recognized above the crowd, then you are now fucking locked in.
You now owe society.
Yep. Your talent.
If you're a good fighter, you owe society to go fight in that pit for the entertainment of the masses.
I mean, that's basically how Cuba does it.
Cuba has fight pits?
They have like the Olympic schools or like places where if you as a kid are basically the most talented, then you go to like a place where you're going to learn to be an MMA dude, and you're competing with everyone else that's an MMA person, and you pretty much like the person who's the best of that class gets big rewards, and other people sometimes don't eat. And
what a fascinating system.
Yep. And you want to know how and why, like, the best of the best come out of that. It's because not only are they like fighting for comfort in their life, but not getting that comfort means living impoverished.
There's a equivalent to that. A lot of Asian friends of ours have told us that their parents' pressures on them are, well, did you get number one? No.
Yeah.
How come you didn't get number one?
Yeah.
But I got number two. Why didn't you get number one?
Yeah. Oh, you mean you got first loser?
Oh,
second
good job,
place?
first loser.
Yeah. Great. Right. Fantastic. Yeah. So
meanwhile, my parents were like, as long as you tried your best, honey, don't you worry. You can't be the best at everything.
Yeah. Full on evolve or die situations going on there. And if you'd like more details about that and you think I'm full of shit, go listen to the life story of Yoel Romero. Godlike MMA fighter that like fucking
just created by his nation.
So that's what they do. You go, oh, you're good for this. This is where you go now. You owe your country a debt to like be the most talented Cuban fighter. and he fucking ran the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like the first chance he got.
Now listen, we can go all big and all that shit and try and broadcast it out and make the point seem ridiculous. Martin wants to be locked in a room to finish his fucking book.
He's requesting it.
So, you know what now? I don't want the book to come out. Right? I want it. I want fucking him to touch down and for the authorities, like somebody in the New Zealand government, to take it seriously and be like, you told us. He's like, no, it was a joke. It was a funny joke for the internet. And they're like, no jokes here, George.
Shackles.
Into the shack with you. Here's your fucking DOS computer. Yeah, I hope the manuscript of the book burns down.
Hey man, The Winds of Winter already has chapters on that he
put
out. He's already previewed it for
people. Which shows to me like a knowledge that it's going to be a while, and that like the desperation of people who think like me is actually getting to him. Because releasing book chapters of a book like that is kind of weird.
You know, it's a shame that he wasn't like Mura and like obsessed with something like World of Warcraft. Because then whenever people could ask what he's working on, he could just say, I've been working on WoW. Yeah. And they can just go like, oh, okay, cool, he's at it.
Yeah.
And that'd be it.
I think Mura's still the worst, honestly. Out of this type of thing, I think Mura's still the worst.
I want to give a shout out to that comic I saw of what was it? It was fuck, I'm fucking this up because I barely remember what it was, but it was like 3 cartoon things dragging, I forgot what the thing was, they're dragging Game of Thrones into the distance, and like Game of Thrones was being dragged away by Lost, How I Met Your Mother, and
BSG maybe?
No,
Dexter,
yes. Yeah. Dexter, Lost, and How I Met Your Mother are dragging Game of Thrones into the distance.
And it's like
Tom and Jerry. And
it's just like,
Yep. I've never ever been into How I Met Your Mother. I watched clips. I've seen clips of it. It's super cringeworthy.
All 3 of those shows, I had friends that were
we have mutual friends that aggressively tried to push it. And it was like, how do we like the same comedians in comedy, but you're into this type of fucking bullshit
and then
sitcom? I don't understand. How is this funny to you?
All three of them, we got to that final season and we started to hear like discontent, let's call it, and then came the endings and they were like, I wish I never watched this fucking show.
I don't understand how something called How I Met Your Mother ends up having a shitty ending, because it seems really straightforward in terms of what you got to do with it. I suppose at the point where it gets too popular and decides not to end, you have a problem. But I don't get how something with that title can get fucked up, because it really seems like you have a solid out anytime you need it.
And that's How I Met Her.
Am I like it's wild how that is getting raked over the coals over. I'm like, I want to know how you fuck that up. I really do. I'm legit curious. Anyway, man, softball of a fucking title. So the story is that George R.R. Martin, aka Grimm, has been talking, and in addition to that Winds of Winter story about him going to New Zealand, there's the also.
I sent you how you fuck it up on your phone.
Spoilers about how the ending of. Wow, this show's garbage. How I Met Your Mother sucks. Whoa, that's so stupid. What a terrible show. Oh my god, what is wrong with anyone that likes this thing? What a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know.
That's wow. Wow, that's bad. That's wow. Okay. I didn't know.
It's really bad, huh? All right.
Okay. How 9 seasons?
8? 9?
13?
A lot.
Anyway, so the news is that George R.R. Martin talked about how he people are dying for it.
No, don't do it. Come
All
on.
right.
Let
all
them
right,
go
I
look it up
won't-
themselves.
No, yeah, find out. Yeah,
There have
fair.
been documentaries made on how bad the ending was.
Really?
No.
Okay.
But there have been, well, YouTube documentaries.
Okay. All right.
There's
fair.
a YouTube documentary on your fucking left nut at this point.
It is the standout. There's a blog post that George R. R. Martin made where he's talking about how busy he was and what he was up to.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this in which he said, "I consulted on a game out of Japan." Was the exact phrase.
I remember that.
Yes. So the story goes, George R. R. Martin consulted on a game developed in Japan back in March. A YouTube channel, Spawnwave, published a video discussing a rumor spreading about the next project from Dark Souls and Bloodborne developer From Software, which is stated to be an open-world title, which Grimm is one of the lead writers, with various kingdoms to visit and an ability to obtain from killing the leaders of those kingdoms.
Supposedly the name is Great Rune.
A person familiar with the ongoings of FromSoft has told Gematsu that the project, said to be known internally as Great Rune, or GR.
You get it? Get it, you fucks?
I don't know about. Well, this just refers to GR. I don't know about the other wording.
I've
but-
seen the name Great Rune floating around. I don't know where it came from though.
Okay. It's been in development for 3 years, and it's supposedly an open-world title with horse riding in collaboration between Miyazaki and George R.R., published by Bandai Namco, to be officially announced at E3 2019.
Yo, that'd be dope.
We have not been able to confirm or verify this information, but we've shared what we've heard in light of his blog
You know what'd be
post.
great? If From Software made an open world game in which one of the kingdoms was the horse dudes.
Dothraki?
Yeah. No. The both Raku.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what would be a great console to play this video game on?
What's that?
Your Game of Thrones Xbox.
Yeah, I would, wouldn't I?
Branded with the logos and
Yeah.
everything, as we saw
Laughed
announced
about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
Game of Souls?
Yeah, man. Oh, no, they're not. It's not gonna be named anything like Game of Thrones.
I'm saying it as in the
Yeah.
derivative sense.
I hope they go back to the naming convention of having souls in the title. I actually really like it.
I directly pointed to the fight in the final season that was a Dark Souls boss fight.
Yeah.
It happened. It was there. Mm-hmm. You know?
You could do it.
It's kind of nuts, too, to think that, like, a studio and a team and a director inspired by Berserk are now swinging all the way around into
It's really weird.
working with someone like George R. R. Martin.
Now, that being said, Miyazaki's grandest inspiration for the Soul series was his childhood reading English fantasy novels that he couldn't quite understand. So they left gaps in his understanding of what the story was actually about, which is why the Dark Souls series is so vague. What better writer to team up with than one whose story has big motherfucking gaps in it because it's not done? George R. R. Martin can write the best gap-filled story. He's been writing one for decades.
A Song of Souls.
There you go. You did it. You did it.
I sure did.
We need to get a fucking Berserk game. I don't care. Just do it. Just do it. Say it takes place between say it takes place on a boat chapter that we just didn't see. And that's the whole cast is there, and he's got the armor, and they took a pit stop on an island. Done. It's done.
Okay. The clear winner is A Song of Souls, but I gotta give it up to the runner-up, Souls of Ice and Fire. It's not as good, but it's pretty all right. No, Song of Souls is the winner.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep trying.
Yeah, it was done.